What's going on, folks? I'm going to be showing you how you would change out a top line rail on a chain link fence. Also, what you would have to do to have to cut this rail. So a lot of times when you get these rails, like say from Home Depot or Lowe's or something, they may only come in like say 10-foot sections. But say for example you need like a 15-foot or something like that. So what you may have to do is actually buy a top line rail. This happens for most residential chain link fences. What you will need is a 1 3/8 rail like this to go on your top line rail. To pretty much take this off, all you have to do is, if you see these twist things right here, you just kind of untwist these. You'll have them all along here, along your fence. They just pretty much tie onto the chain link itself. So you just basically go through, take out all these little fence chain link fence twists is what they call. You pretty much just twist them and they'll come loose, and when you're done you twist them right back up. Also, when you're getting a new top line rail, you probably want to go ahead and get the galvanized steel. That way it doesn't rust. If you can see on this fence right here, this top line rail, it's all rusted out. So we're going to be changing this one out. So all you have to do, like I said, is take out these twists. You'll have a few of them going down the rail. Then you want to come up here to this part right here and just basically take you a pair of vice grips, screwdriver, socket set, or whatever, and just loosen this screw until this piece right here comes loose. So then what you'll do is kind of flip this up and pull this end of the rail out. And once you have all these twists off, you should just be able to pull this whole rail out like that, and then you'll pretty much have this whole top line rail out. Like I said, take off one side, and then you should just be able to go down and just pull it all the way out like that, and you'll pretty much have this top line rail out. Like I said, this happens to be rusted, so we already changed out the other ones. I'll show you those. So as you can see right here, we've already changed out this one pretty much, put on a galvanized steel pretty much top line rail. Like I said, once again, this is 1 3/8, which is your standard size for your residential top line rails. You see these twists? They pretty much just twist. You can pretty much just twist them out and take all of them off, and then just pull out this top line rail. You see, this happened to be a 21-foot rail, so we had to cut it. I'm gonna be showing you next exactly what you do to cut this. It's pretty simple. Sometimes if you have a pipe cutter, you may use that, but if not, you can use a circle saw with a steel metal blade pretty much to be able to cut it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you that now. We're about to be going ahead and cutting this top line rail, because like I said, sometimes when you get them, they may be too long, and you might have to cut it to fit the actual size of your fence. But what you're going to need is right here. If you don't have a pipe cutter, you can also use a reciprocal saw, but I'm just going to use this one right here, which is a circular saw. What you need to have is a steel metal blade. You see right here, this is a steel metal blade. As long as you have one of these blades, you should be able to cut straight through that that top line rail pretty much for your chain link fence. Always make sure that when you're using stuff like this, that you practice safety. You want to wear gloves. You want to wear some type of an eye protection, as well as you want to wear some type of something to cover up your mouth and nose. You don't want to breathe in the smell and all that when you're cutting these. So I'm going to show you right now me cutting one of, I've got an old one that I'm going to go ahead and cut. Basically, I got the circle saw, and I'm pretty much got my protective gear on, my eye covers, as well as my mouth and nose is covered. So I'm doing is taking that metal steel blade. I'm just going to cut straight through this pipe pretty much. You're going to have sparks and stuff because of course it's metal cutting against metal, so kind of back up, make sure it doesn't pop when you're about to cut through it. And if you can see right here, we're pretty much just cut through this side over here. So a lot of time you may just want to turn it to the other side now and just kind of line it up in the same spot, and then cut right over here. And now if you can see right here, give you a close-up. You can see pretty much how I'm cutting straight through it. So it may take you a couple times, like turn the pipe around on each side pretty much to cut through it. Or sometimes you can just cut straight through it just by putting a little bit more force on the circle saw on that blade, will pretty much cut straight through this top line a galvanized steel pipe pretty much. Once again, folks, this is how you would put on a top line rail onto a chain link fence pretty much, by disconnecting the fence ties and taking off the pretty much end collars, and then go ahead and take you a circle saw if you don't have like a pipe cutter or something like that, and go ahead and just cut through this and measure it out to the correct size that you may need. Like I said, also I would recommend that you get a galvanized steel pipe, because that way it won't rust. The difference between galvanized steel and not is that the galvanized steel pipes pretty much have been dipped into zinc, which stops it from rusting. Alright folks, please check out our other helpful videos. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks.